pembukaan program yang pertama, USAS Intellectual Discourse. Sedikit latar belakang berkenaan program ni. Hakikatnya program ni adalah sebuah program yang diteruskan oleh TNCA, Dato Prof Kameel sendiri, sebagai gateway ataupun sebagai tempat untuk staff, tak kira lah, ataupun um, pelajar pasca siswazah pun untuk berkongsi ilmu. Jadi program pertama ni, Prof kami akan membentang tentang lessons from post Bretton Woods. Ini berkenaan sistem kewangan secara amnya. Apapun kami dan kita semua harapkan program ini tak terhenti di sini saja. Diharapkan staf lain juga turut serta bersama di siri yang akan datang. Boleh terus ke bentang borang dan kita setkan masa dan mulakan pembentangan. Baik, dengan itu tanpa melengahkan masa, menampakkan TNC kita pun ada meeting 11.30 nanti. Dipersilakan.
Ya, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Thank you, Ustaz Anwar. And then everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, this is actually to reviving back the intellectual discourse yang dulu apparently ada kan, it was going on. So I'm trying to revive it back. So maybe I'm starting, but later, inshallah, you all must also come and present your areas of interest lah, and then and open up opportunities for research and things like that. Itu our objective of this thing. So today, inshallah, I will present my area of interest. My area of interest is monetary system. So I've been doing work on this for last 20 years lah. So apa dia, what is this? Basically, the objective is to show you what are the effects of the present monetary system being effect, what it does to socio-economics, right? Then what reforms necessary to correct the thing. So in the process, actually I will be also, arguing kenapa we have to go back to dinar and dirham sebagai the monetary standards in Islam. So including the global system, what is happening today is all in fact after looking at it from a monetary perspective, a lot of things that's happening in the global political and economic scenario become inshallah a lot clearer in my perspective lah. What is happening semua nanti dan clearer when you look at it from the monetary movement of things. Itu objektif. No. Cancel internet. Cancel lah. Alright. So just to start off, to understand kenapa dinar and dirham ini is important, or why we have to go back to the gold-based monetary system is important. Oh, why Tun Mahathir even, in the 1998 crisis, he was talking about the gold dinar. So you need to have slightly basic understanding of how the simple monetary structure, the monetary system works. You see kenapa ada atas tu payment tu kan, the circle. There basically we have firms where we come to work lah, macam universiti semua kita come and kerja, and then we are households at the same time. Jadi households ni dia supply all these things, labor. Macam kita ni sekarang ni supplying labor lah, come to university supply labor, ada yang supply capital, ada yang land. Land artinya you ada tanah, mungkin tanah tu boleh keluarkan something minyak ke apa ke, all this considered land, alright? So we households supply all these things to the factor of production, to the ini, and they will produce goods and services lah, benda-benda ni. And then it will come back to households. It's a very simple economic, it's for the benefit of because it will show you a lot of things that is happening in the world. So one side, movement of real thing, the goods and services is real. The other side is wang lah. So every time, for example, now we come and work here, we are providing our labor, this thing, but we get paid. So with the money ini kita pergi beli barang apa-apa di kedai, this thing, kan? So in this model ni, we look at the entire economic system ni sebagai satu supermarket yang besar lah. One single supermarket in the whole country. Everyone. Wherever you're buying from anybody, okay, this is a large supermarket. Right? So I buy something from you, I katakan I give you some money, I buy something from you. Lepas you pergi supermarket ke mana-mana, you buy from somebody else. Tapi wang yang sama di tukar tangan. The same money is changing hands, but at the same time goods and services also changing hands. Pasal itu dalam ekonomi, dia ada dua MV equals to PY itu. M is the monetary side, PY is the real side, real thing. Money, the money lah, duit times velocity itu berapa kali dia tukar tangan. Is the velocity. So money times the velocity berapa kali dia tukar tangan equals to P times Y. Price level times the real things. Benda-benda yang the goods and services we produce. Jadi kalau kita pergi supermarket beli barang, katakan 5 botol Coca-Cola. So it is P is the price, darab 5 lah. The Y is the real Coca-Cola. So price darab 5 benda tu is how much you pay in money. Cuma in macroeconomics bukan M saja, dia ada V. Sebab same money is changing hands. So M times V, it is the national output. Kita kata GNP, GDP, Gross Domestic Product at current price. Harga semasa, darab, the output is the GDP. So if you remove the price level, if you just look at the Y aja kan, that is the GDP at, we call it a real GDP. Benda-benda yang real things that you're producing. So Y is the real GDP. So how you measure the real GDP, you make the price level constant lah. You constantkan the price level, whatever dia tukar-tukar tu, dia jadi real GDP. So yeah, exactly, that's a real, our real output. Jadi real GDP in the country is by fixing the price at a certain year, and then movement, everything is real. Kalau kita fix the price. Katakan we want to see the real GDP in this year relative to 5 years ago. Jadi kita fix the price of everything at the year 5 years ago price, right? So if people ask, well, okay, how do you get the real GDP? Is the GDP at constant price. Like if you go to Bank Negara punya website, you'll get GDP at I think the year 2020 or something like that. So every movement is real GDP. Nominal GDP means dia pakai harga semasa. Why this is important? Because the M ni in the modern monetary system, dia sentiasa naik. The M constantly rises. That means there's more money in the system. Hari ni there's more money in our Malaysian system compared to yesterday. Sebab apa? There are 3 reasons. Satu duit tu bukan duit yang inilah. There are actually 2 kinds of money. In fact, there are more. First is our notes. This money, all this paper, and this is considered as M0. M0. Kalau you go to Bank Negara punya website, dia kata okay, M0 berapa. Then M1. M1 ni this money plus all the demand deposits in the bank. So demand deposits in the bank ni dia bukan real money, dia accounting money aja. Paper only. So when you go to a bank, you kata you nak pinjam RM500 as ini pinjaman, the money will be created at the moment actually. This one not many people they know this. It's not people's deposit yang dia bagi. The money is just created in the accounting process. They put on the debit side because you are now a debtor to the bank. Then they put on the credit side. They give you a account for that much as loan. So you can write check lah apa-apa. So you are now credited and a debtor at the same time. You know? So this is how the banking system creates money. So when you go, you want to send money to your children, ATM machine, okay, you go and tekan, transfer money to your children. Only accounting numbers transfer. Not this, not the physical money. So this physical money is only about 5% in the economy. 95% of money that is circulating is money created by bank as loan. This we are 95% or more already now. Yeah, this is what we call fractional reserve banking system. We teach that in our textbook, okay, in our classes. Okay. berapa billion? This is only I got the statistics. I'll show you. This, I see whether I have. Actually, I was presenting this. This is the earlier one. Okay. So I'll see the data is coming. The Bank Negara. You go to Bank Negara data, you can see all of them. M0, M2, M1. M2 is like fixed deposits and everything. So less liquid things will be added until macam M3 and so forth. So people can also use macam let's say shares in the stock market for buyer. I buy something big along, I can also pay you cash. I can pay you shares. So shares also can become money. Can so the one all M3, M4, the higher definitions of money lah, right? Tapi most of the time we use M1. M1 ni whether when you buy things, either you pay cash atau you use your credit card or this thing. So it's M1. So the thing is, we need to know in 1971 there was in history money was always backed by gold. Sentiasa there was a gold linking. Why there was gold linking? So that people cannot create money out of nothing. So you must work something. Okay, you dapat emas tu baru you boleh beli barang tukar. So it was gold standard, we call it gold standard. So after the World War II, when America won the war, so they made, okay, all countries you tak payah back your currency to gold, only the dollar will be backed by gold. So that system is known as Bretton Woods. It was signed in a place called Bretton Woods. So Bretton Woods, that's why because the dollar was the only currency backed by gold, it became so dominant. Semua orang focus on dollar because the others are all paper, So the whole world started to focus on the dollar like that. Tapi in 1971, they created so much of dollar without having the gold behind to finance the Vietnam War. So countries realized that. Then France, de Gaulle of France, he went to US. He said, okay, this is my dollar reserve. Give the gold. There's no gold. So must say to you bring $35, you can get 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of gold ini 31 gram of pure gold you can get just for $35. So you can go to bring the money to the Federal Reserve and you can actually convert it. Very this thing. That's why when I realized this also, I will come to that Malaysian history. So so I was telling this one, you see, because the M constantly grows because of 3 reasons. One, money is just fiat like that, and then when the bank gives you the loan, they give you at compound interest. Compounded interest. Compound interest means the formula there it is like this. I show you this one. The formula is, you see, the future value is what you have to pay. The PV is the loan you take. Okay? So 1 plus I, the interest rate is the I, to the power of N, berapa tahun ke, berapa bulan ke, like that. That's the N. So you see the formula, mathematically there's an exponential function. Because N is a power, right? So when the bank create money out of nothing and give you a loan, and then they put that compound interest, the system money grows exponentially. And because the N. But real things, you and me, we cannot work. Okay, today I come to work 8 hours. Tomorrow exponentially 9 hours, then 12 hours. People who cannot work like that. We cannot produce goods and services like that, right? So in the equation, what happens in the equation, in the early equation, in the early equation, M equals to PY2, that's known as the equation of exchange in economics. The V generally taken constant. There are times V will change, especially I will talk about later. Because the P, thanks. Okay, good. The source. Okay. So the V is constant, sebab M constantly grows, and the Y cannot grow like exponentially, jadi price level must go up. So inflation is by structure or design of the system actually. Pasal itu in the present system ni constantly there will be inflation. So whenever Bank Negara and others say, okay, we are now trying to control inflation, I know they are just fooling the people. They know very well that their system creates inflation. They will always say, they will talk about the exchange rate. We need to control the exchange rate. Then this, but actually it is the. Correct. Correct. So by structure, the system is inflationary. Okay. So this satu ringgit ni, when I was I think maybe Hawasmu belum lahir lagi agaknya. In 1970s in Penang, I beli 10 roti canai dengan satu ringgit ni. We all used to have roti canai 10 sen, kopi 10 sen aja. Jadi 20 sen we can have breakfast at that time. Tapi sekarang with satu ringgit, you're not sure whether you can get one roti canai. Kan? So this is because of the structure of the design of the system. Faham tak? So what this causes is that this one lah. The Y is the green line is the Y tadi, the real things we produce. The the red line is the hutang tu. Hutang dan wang. Dua-dua will grow like that. The money in the system and the hutang in the system will grow because 95% of money is hutang actually. Just as I mentioned to you tadi, right? So you can plot this for almost any country. You get the data from IMF got a lot of data. You plot, you'll find this. For my students dulu, this is one of the first exercise I'll give. Okay, you plot the data for number of years for different countries, and then estimate the equation of the line using econometric methods lah. And then show that the exponential growth of the money is always much larger than the exponential growth of the real economy, which means the system is by design inflationary. Faham dah? So we use different terms. One, we use inflation. Number two, we use bubbles. So if you say, oh, there's a housing bubble, artinya the housing sector is absorbing a lot of money in the system and causing the price of houses to go up. So the word bubble is basically inflation juga lah. So dot-com bubble, that bubble, this bubble is. So it's actually inflation. Now there's another effect of this whole thing is that there will be a widening gap in income and wealth distribution. Also by design of the system. Apa maksud dia? The rich will become richer and richer and the poor will become poorer and poorer in the system. Sebab apa? Sebab of this thing. You see this equation, you just look back the equation. The M is constantly growing, right? Sebab the banking system is creating money and giving loan. Kepada siapa dia bagi loan tu? It is always to the richer sectors of the economy. The poor guy goes, they say, oh, you're not credit worthy, you won't get a loan. Right? So the new money is created and always also given to the richer section of the economy. Right? So because of that, the system will create the rich will become richer and richer. The poor is not getting any money from the bank. Tapi kenapa dia jadi poorer and poorer? Because inflation semua orang kena tanggung. Yes, one inflation is semua orang kena tanggung. Number dua, when you save money, the purchasing power of your money is constantly going down sebab prices are rising. Jadi kalau orang tua, you think, I need to save money, I need to save money. Tapi the nilai wang tu sentiasa akan turun. Back this thing. So it's not a good idea to save actually money in cash. That's the first thing you have to understand in the present monetary system. All the wealthy guys, they never keep too much of money. Invest they'll put in assets that can grow. Because anybody who holds money, you're actually losing the purchasing power. By structure. So that is the, so this is a famous statement by Nobel laureate Milton Friedman. He said inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Because a lot of time you think, oh, the prices are rising because population is rising. Ataupun because there's not enough output of things, prices are rising. No, the real reason is there's always more money in the system. It's a very established fact actually. Huh? Yeah. Yes. Generally, it will go down. Sebab you will find that the inflation rate is always higher than the rate they give you. Invest in real things. One of the things by gold, but later I'll talk to you about gold nanti. Later I'll talk to you about gold. Because in yeah, when I realized this thing in year 2000 plus lah, when Tun Mother was talking about gold, we were behind actually supporting the thing. So that time, the gold price was 1 gram was only 35 ringgit. So I asked my MBA students more, I believe, then it will go up. Now 280. Huh? 380? 280 or 380? Oh, oh, I've been thinking the last time I saw it was only 280. Bang, huh? Oh, I didn't realize. But remember, I've been telling that the gold price will rise even higher. Why? Because I will talk you the international political this thing is happening. I'll tell you that why. It's because of what Putin is doing. He's changing back. Taking the world back to gold actually. Yeah. 380. Masa itu 35 ringgit aja. So we all buy 1 kilogram, 35,000, but now it is 380,000 already. So some of my MBA students used to tell me thank you because they made a lot of money. But later I'll tell you the real role of gold in Islam is not actually for investment. It is actually to play the role of money. That means as a measure of value. Dia akan protect your savings. Itu je. Nilai dia tak akan naik actually. So nilai, like you're saying, is naik because you're valuing it using paper money. When you value gold using real things, for example, apa katakan gandum ke beras ke apa ni, you see the value relative, it is a constant. I got one thesis, one of them, dia masalah dari UK lah, dia Islam juga. Dia dapat 2000 tahun punya data tau. 2000 tahun data in Ottoman Caliphate, in England dengan Amerika, you know. Huh? 2000 tahun even data from that long, you know. Then he checked the value of gold relative to real things, is a constant. But he followed one work done by another professor from University of Berkeley, by Roy Jastram. You can even Google the book. It's called. He did for 400 tahun aja. Dia punya data 400 tahun. He did it also. He got it a constant. So he named his book the Golden Constant. No? It's not a real investment. It's not a real investment, tapi it will protect your savings from being eroded by, like just now I mentioned to you. You keep your money in paper money, nilai dia sentiasa turun. Tapi if you keep your savings in gold, nilai dia actually is a constant. Walaupun in the fiat money the price rising lah. So that is the. So I always tell people, like, if you have the dinar, normally I keep one dinar in my pocket just to show you my wallet is not here. Dalam ini one dinar ni, if you see the hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you will see during that time that Prophet giving 1 dinars to buy kambing ataupun ini. So 1 dinar or kambing, you can buy 1 kambing using a dinar. Macam mana? So today you have 1 dinar, you can still buy a kambing. Walaupun sudah 1400 tahun. Gram, 4.25 gram. Tapi if you see, simpan duit masa tu in paper money, today is nothing. No value. You get it or not? So dia akan pegang the purchasing power. The gold will protect the purchasing power of your money. Tapi the whole the structure tadi, it is not only affecting the what do you call that, the price level, including your house price of homes today lah. I'll show you the statistics in a moment. Dia punya effect tu, the difference, because the monetary system is growing faster than the real economy. Dia punya effect is many. One is economy, okay, inflation. Just now I mentioned the income and wealth gap tadi. Rising cost of living, that means of course everything will rise lah. Bila so the keeping rumah lah, apa-apa pun, everything will rise. That's rising cost of living. Unaffordable homes. Also inflation actually, because the price is being absorbed by the housing sector, and also effect on agriculture. Sebab agriculture, kalau kita tanam ni semua, dia tak boleh grow like the interest rate is growing exponentially. Dia tak boleh grow like that. So the agriculture will always lose to this monetary system of compound interest. But agriculture is important for our life. Kita kena makan, everybody needs food. So that's the reason why we have agri banks. So the governments will force, okay, in the country we need the agri bank that can give interest rates much lower, so that the agriculture can be still profitable. Kalau you follow the normal interest rate, all agriculture, all farmers will just leave the agri business. So agriculture will become not attractive compared to real sector. That's the reason why a lot of tanah-tanah ini agri become tanah pembangunan. Tapi they're never opposite. Yeah, right? You see that? So that's it. And governments will have to give subsidy to make farmers remain in business. That's why you need also subsidy in this business, so that some food production continues in the country. Yeah, right? And because of the wealth gap also, societies can, crime, security also can become problems. So a lot of, that was my master's thesis when I did, the economics of crime. How the system actually affects the crime levels in the country. Ada hubungan juga lah. Then recession and unemployment is because of, I have no time to explain this. That will take another this thing there. But the structure also creates the economic cycles of up and down, the boom and bust. Okay, when the economy becomes highly indebted, they can burst. Tak boleh tahan, burst, then it will become a recession. Then the banking sector will create new money, then they can rise again. So it's also related to that. But in this, I would like to talk a little bit of shrinking population. In many of the nations, populations are shrinking, especially the wealthy nations. It's also related to this. This is the one causing it. Yeah. They don't want to get married. They want a simple life. They just want to go through life. Kind of. They call it hanjau ke apa in their names in South Korea and because South Korea and Japan paling teruk in this. But the entire Europe also facing it. All the countries, including Malaysia. Malaysia started already. If you look at the data, it's beginning to shrink. So the Kementerian Kementerian Wanita dan ini, they are now going to do a conference on that. To see, why, the kadar kesuburan it's not kadar kesuburan. It's actually, I will argue later, it is a rational economic decision of people. So then it also has a lot of political effects, sectarian tensions, conflicts and wars, like what the entire war on terrorism and things like that. So also actually to protect the dollar. Protect the dollar. So that is okay, I'll just skip this. I haven't mentioned it. You look at the Malaysian data. Now, one thing, if in this data, the equation of exchange, because there's velocity, that means money is changing hands here, and PY is the GDP of the nation, right? The total money in the system, like M1, M2, it must be smaller in size compared to the GDP of the nation. Sebab dia ada V di sana. Kalau let's say PY adalah 100, velocity adalah 5. That means duit itu tukar tangan 5 kali setahun. That means all the money you need is only 20. 20 money plus 5 kali dia tukar tangan. So you have the GDP of the nation 100. Right? So the money supply in the nation must be always lower than the GDP of the nation. If you look last time, memang gitu, all the time. But suddenly you see what happened in Malaysia. This is the latest data I got from Bank Negara punya website. 2020, M1, the real GDP is there, and then the nominal GDP bawah sekali. You see? Nominal GDP is 367 billion, right? For 2020. You think M1, even M1 itself is larger than the amount of money itself is larger than the economy already. That is very bad, That's very bad. The amount of money itself belum darat dengan velocity lagi. I think how they are managing our economy, So our economy is highly inflationary because of that. So people talk about housing, ini semua unaffordable. It's not ini. I will put every blame on Bank Negara like this. I present to them. No, I told them, it's your management. You cannot pretend as though you're trying to solve the problem. No, you are the guys creating it. I think our policies are coming from outside. I think tekanan from outside. So basically, they're stealing our wealth. Everybody is working in this thing. Someone else is stealing our wealth. No, no, no. They are coming and actually producing goods and services. They are not taking anything away. They are actually contributing to the development of the nation. They're contributing just like anybody else, you know. But the thing is, how it is being stolen. That means it is through a game of playing with the monetary management of it. To give you an example, the moment let's say Singapore and Malaysia exchange rate, bila our exchange rate turun sikit 10% ni, 10% of the entire wealth of the nation is being moved. You're actually giving it away to them. People don't realize it. You see, when let's say 1970s, one ringgit and one Singapore dollar was the same, right? Satu 1970s. Next, then let's say it become. Then you bring your money, you buy something there. They can buy the same thing here, right? Sekarang you need 2 ringgit to get their 1 ringgit or $1. You see, so that $1 is also paper. This is also paper. Nothing beza pun bukan gold pun. Dia punya paper dia bawa, dia boleh beli 2 bakul sekarang ni. From your whatever you produce, you can kasih 2 kali sekarang. That's number one, exchange rate. So a little bit jatuh, that means they're taking more from this thing, more. Sekarang 3 kali. That's one way of playing this. Another is, if you notice, there's in the fractional reserve banking, there's another. For example, they say like Singapore and Brunei, for example, they can use their currency here and there, Tapi the fractional reserve banking doesn't work much in Brunei. Everything is controlled from Singapore, right? So what happens is that here, when you deposit money in a bank, let's say 1 million you deposit in a bank, the bank can actually lend out more than now in the fractional reserve about 25 million. For every 1 million someone can deposit, it's 25 million. That's the fractional reserve banking. So Bruneians, when they keep the money, let's say in Singapore, so the Singapore can create money, fractional reserve, they can buy the oil. That's the reason why a country like that can have oil refineries when they don't have oil. You see? The third way is, for example, let's say compare, for example, Pulau Batam dengan also Singapore, for example. The major currency there, a lot of people using is Sing dollars, not the Indonesian. So if I'm a Singaporean in this country, then I'll just create more Sing dollars and push it into that place which is accepting my currency. Just printing machine only, right? Or electronically create. So this is all how clever you can manage your fiat monetary system. You can actually grab. So for US, that was very powerful. Why? The US made this thing, the dollar is the reserve currency for the entire world. Right? How did they do it? When the Bretton Woods collapsed, then the dollar will become no longer a powerful currency. So they went to Saudi Arabia, then they said, you only sell, and also the OPEC, you only sell all your oil only for dollar. Oil. Every nation needs oil for its economic engine. Betul tak? Isn't it? Every nation needs oil for its economic engine. So semua orang kena beli oil pakai dollar je. That's like. So you notice, let's say Malaysia, for example, or any other country, now I need oil for my economic engine. I nak beli oil ni, I will have to have the dollar first. Mana macam mana I can have the dollar first? I have to give something to America first. Then only I can have the dollar reserve. Then only I can pay for my oil that I'm purchasing. You see? So a lot of wealth will accumulate in the US because the dollar is a international currency. So that is the reason everybody rushed to America. The programmers all from India, everybody rushed there because there's so much of purchasing power. Purchasing power created by fiat. Fiat means out of nothing actually. All right, huh? So that is the issue. Huh? You see the growth of money. M1 for Malaysia only from 2015 to 2020, 9.9% lah growth of money. Tapi real GDP baru 3% saja. You know? If you look for about 20 years pun lebih kurang sama like that. I've looked at it. You know? So the money always grows much faster than the real economy. So it's inflationary. So this is just a data for housing. But this is the old data for housing. 7 tahun by Khazanah Research Institute. I couldn't get the new. They have not come out with the new research yet. See for Malaysia, masa itu, 2016, the median income, household income 5,000. For housing, normally we take 3 tahun punya income as the affordable house. Jadi 5,000 kalau sebulan, darab dengan 36 lah. 3 tahun. So you get 188,000. That is the affordable house. Nilai of harga rumah yang affordable. Tapi at the same time, the median house price of house is 313. So how to? So in international classification, dia sudah 5 kali. Sepatutnya 3 kali 3 tahun punya income, dia sudah jadi 5 tahun punya income. So it's classified as seriously unaffordable. Tapi seriously unaffordable 7 tahun lepas. So now it will be by now severely unaffordable. Jadi anak-anak kita ini, when I see this kind of data, I know my children in this system they cannot own a home. Cannot how to afford a home like this. Correct or not? So that's why I've been arguing. We have to go back to the goal linking again, so that the money cannot grow like this. So that a dinar can buy kambing 1,400 years ago. Today also you can buy the same many. So whatever work I produce, economic work, it is preserved. My value is preserved in the savings, is preserved in the gold, not in paper value. You see, that's the reason gold linking is actually important. And this fact, Ramai, our Sharia scholars, they don't understand. They say, oh no, money is given, it's all okay. The Sharia principles are all okay. Yeah, but you see how much our people are losing. You see, so. The solution is go back to gold. I'll come back. Okay, I want to show you also another thing. It will make people all indebted. Semua akan jadi penghutang in the system. Just one thing. This is Bank Negara's report. Dia sendiri kata the debt to GDP ratio has come to a new peak. All right? And then, so what you will find in this system ni, you will find household, isi rumah, businesses, dan juga government akan menjadi debtors. Rising, constantly rising. So we will always know in accounting, every debtor there must be a creditor. Siapa creditor? Kalau everybody is becoming debtor, business pun debtor, government pun jadi debtor. Siapa creditor? It's the banking system, because we have given them the right to create money out of nothing and give to others as loan. So being banker is the most lucrative business. So you know why our Sharia scholars, they all will support this. When our PM, in the last budget, he presented government loan, debt. Because we need to pay back the debt, kan? Dia kata debt 1.2 trillion. 1.2 trillion. Just for let's say kita bayar balik 1 juta setiap hari. 1.2 trillion got 12 zeros, Many people don't know what is a trillion. Trillion ni ada 12 kosong. 6 kosong juta, 12. So 1.2 trillion is the government debt. Saya kata kalau you bayar balik 1 juta setiap hari, that means 1 tahun sudah bayar balik 365 juta. Berapa tahun agaknya kita akan ambil to bayar balik 1.2 trillion ringgit loan? Just make a guess. Just make a guess. I know we all don't deal with 300 tahun. Okay, and, just make a guess. 1.2 trillion. We are not talking about paying back interest tau. Just the principal aja, wang pokok aja. Hutang pokok tu 1.2 trillion. Nah, make a guess 300 years. Dia 3,000 tahun lebih. Dia akan mengambil 3,000 tahun lebih untuk bayar balik just the wang pokok. Belum interest lagi. So you see the system what it has brought, the government becomes so indebted already. So siapa akan bayar government tu? Kita lah, people lah. Government is not, government is just one of us juga. Yes, so the people will have to work. Ultimately, the taxes will rise and rise and rise to pay back. It almost is unrepayable. Unrepayable. You see that? So that's why when you look at the government budget, if you carefully look at the numbers, the hasil kerajaan ni is enough just to pay back for the administration, pengurusan. For development, new budget for development, and to pay back the old loan ni, we actually need money from outside. So most of the money either borrowed ataupun some of the GLCs must come and chip in. The hasil saja dah cukup. So therefore, in this system, it is not. I was telling 20 years ago, the system will become unsustainable. Banyak benda akan jadi unsustainable indeed. So sure enough, United Nations talking about sustainable development goals, right? So everyone is focusing on the sustainable development goals. Tapi tak ada ramai yang tanya soalan, kenapa all this benda ni dah jadi unsustainable? Apa punca dia? First time, why all this became unsustainable? Okay, so ada reason. I am putting a lot of this thing is actually in the monetary system. Yeah, ada dua benda I say that we need in order to make the entire thing solve the entire thing. One is we need to go back to the real money thinking. Number satu, I put sustainable goal number 18. 19 is the spirituality and character. Because a lot of these things happening at the top level, our leadership and this thing, there is a spirituality and character problem internationally. So that is causing all come and fall on our head like this. Because they're not doing the right decision as need to be done. And luckily I noticed the International Islamic University, they should ambil the one, spirituality as one of the sustainable goals. Perhaps we can take real money as our goal to achieve. Is needed. And sure enough, this is a monetarist, Bernard Leiter, is the central banker of Belgium. Dia pun buat analysis of the entire thing. He made a conclusion: money is the missing link to sustainability. In other words, all the 17 sustainable goals dan semuanya, kita tak boleh capai this thing unless we address the monetary issue. Right? So now let me give you a little bit of story of Malaysia. Malaysia ini dulu, if you notice, this is a picture from a book by Bank Negara. Dia ada the mata wang, sejarah mata wang di Malaysia. You see, these people are all trading. The Arabs, the Javanese, and Chinese are all trading by this seashore. Masa tu, this was among the money that were used in Malaysia. It was all gold coins, silver coins. How many of you know what was the original ringgit? Apa dia ringgit original? The original ringgit is this. It's a 20-gram silver coin. Nampak in Jawi it is written the satu ringgit, kan? But that time it was in the way Marcelo also call it a dollar lah. Maksudnya dollar this thing, you know. You got this is the real ringgit of time. So if you have the ringgit, you can check how much the silver price. They are easily about 80 to 100 ringgit. Walaupun dia satu ringgit masa tu, you just simpan nilai perak dia saja sudah almost 80 to 100 ringgit now. And the gold kupang of Kelantan was the gold coin. And the kijang is the symbol of Bank Negara sekarang lah. So this was the real money. You know, real money, and then you find people. So what happened in Malaysia? Walaupun Bretton Woods collapsed in 1971, which is the global listing, but fiat money entered Malaysia much earlier. Dalam tahun 1860 dia dah jadi fiat. Macam mana? When Penang, Malacca and Singapore were established state settlement, so the English brought banks from Hong Kong and this thing, and these banks started to print paper as ringgit. All our traders, we were using gold and silver, and these guys started to print paper as ringgit. So our economic dominance was immediately overturned. So masa itu, especially the Malays all, we are controlling the land and the paddy field, semua, a lot of the Malays control. Then the international trade was dominated by the Arabs and the Indian Muslims. Arabs, those from Yemen, Al-Junaid, Al-Attas, they were controlling the international trade. From India, the Americans and so on. Tapi when the paper money came like this, they printed paper as ringgit. Everything got overturned. So with that paper money and fiat monetary system, and before they give you independence, it becomes paper money first. Then only they give you. You go and see the history every time before they give the independence, the central bank will be established first. So from there, they can control they are very far away, but they can control your economy. To give you an example, this is one of the notes that was circulating 100 years ago. 100 years ago, Board of Commissioners of Currency Malaya, right? That's King George VI. You see, it's written, kalau you nampak atas tu, 10,000 ringgit. Even though it's written in $10,000, but it's 10,000 ringgit in Jawi. Dan di bawah pun dia tulis, wang kertas ni sah diperlakukan dengan nilai. The normal statement is there. But you need to understand, $10,000 ni, masa tu people can buy a meal for 1 cent. Dulu we are doing, I remember in 1960s pun ada setengah sen, 1/4 sen like that. Because setengah sen, it has purchasing power. So people can buy a meal for 1 cent. Other thing, the purchasing power of this one paper which they print is about 10 million ringgit of today. Imagine satu paper I buy 10 juta ringgit, kalau tanah berapa banyak tanah you boleh dapat. Right. Just start the printing machine only. These people understand the effect of fiat money, not the effect of fiat money. All right. So you can see how the dominance, how the Muslims in this nation, we lost the economic power of the nation because the introduction of the fiat money. I said that in anything for a long time. Why the dynamics? If you further you go and analyze, you will see it, how it is playing the role in the. But here is one important aspect I would like to highlight lah. Fiat money dengan fertility rate yang tadi itu, shrinking population. Kenapa shrinking population is important? Sebab if you go on, ultimately if the society shrink until become nothing, then there's no country to talk about, no economy to talk about. So it's a very serious, it's number one problem. Only one leader in the whole world I've seen who recognized that as number one problem for any economy. This one. Siapa tahu? Do you know who? Silicon you. dalam dua buku dia tulis, he said this is the number one problem for Singapore. Dia kata I've tried all means. Dia kasih budak-budak ini, kalau you budak-budak universiti kahwin, dia kasih ini, you give birth, a lot of gift to the children. Macam-macam dia try. Cruise, or you go free cruise for ini. Dia kata I've tried everything, nothing is working there. But he didn't solve the monetary problem. So I'd like to show you why the monetary problem is causing this actually. Now the fertility is not the normal medical fertility, infertility. This is in economics, the fertility rate is untuk setiap wanita berapa orang anak in the that means that within the childbearing years, how many children they have. So the demographic experts, they say we must have an average of 2.11 children, average. Then the population akan stay put. Kalau dia below 2.11, dia akan shrink. Kalau above 2.11, dia akan naik population. Jadi when but if the population, the fertility rate fall until 1.3 children per woman, they say it cannot be reversed. that means the society, whatever you do also, you cannot reverse it. They can continue to shrink and the society will disappear. 1.3. So any nation got 1.3. The only way to solve this is you have to invite immigration from outside. No way, entire, so Singapore has started already. They invite a lot of the wealthy Chinese, Indians, and elsewhere. They invite in. They have durian parties for them. Yeah, yeah. They correct. Mm. So this is the reversible this thing. So normal distribution will look like this. Kalau blue lines are boys and pink girls. When the young ones ramai lah. So as you go, some of them will be they will die off, right? So it will become less. Then orang yang paling tua, you see. So it will become pyramid like this. But any nation facing a problem with population, you'll see like this. This is Japan. Their pyramid, 1950s is a normal pyramid. 2005, you can see something trouble rising. They look like a kite. And 2055, they are reverse pyramid. Yes, that means very, and you have an aging problem at the top. Yeah. So this one, you cannot reverse it. So they don't know. So what Japan all doing, later we can see they are resorting to robotics. Everywhere you go to restaurant, robot yang come because tak ada orang. So you can see the fertility rate of the world. In 1960, semua tinggi kan. Macam Arab world, one woman almost 7 orang anak. Tapi 2015 hanya 3. But you can see for other, this one tak ada, sorry. I got in another slide, Malaysia and everything, everything. But sorry, because the other laptop tak boleh pakai ni. Hold on. Okay. So basically I'm telling the reason for this, the reason why you're seeing the shrinking population is because first, the present monetary system is causing rising cost of living. While I talk about food, education, health, transportation, money, the last two, rearing children also become expensive today. Hantar sekolah ke tanda ini, take care, ini semua expensive. And retirement costs. Bila kita retire, today, our even KWSP is saying, you have savings untuk 5 tahun aja, most of them. So a rational decision will be, if I have children, lagi kurang. So they have less children so that they can retire comfortably. This one. Then you can see the asset price. There's a rising price of homes also. Then rumah-rumah akan menjadi semakin kecil. Dulu our time all, the teachers we can have, teachers, taman perumahan guru-guru dan sebagainya. Now our teachers can only afford flats only. And the flats also becoming smaller like that. Right now. And the loans also becoming longer. My father took his housing, this thing of financing, dulu, I think 9 years. I took 15 years. Now a younger generation 35 tahun. And they're not talking about 2 generation loan. The father will take and then the son will continue. So these are effects. People will think, well, this is difficult, and then everyone is also at the same time becoming hutang. So your housing, this thing, cost of living, and then hutang pun, is rising. How to have a lot of children? So it's a natural economic decision for making. So anyway, I'll skip this. What is the effect of this? I want to show you. This is done by one German researcher. Hello 2020, about 3 years ago. Blue means this is workforce workforce. So most of the nations are still okay. Walaupun some nations are already in red already, not enough labor force. Tapi by 2030, almost every nation is going to fall. It's going to have a labor shortage. Which means every sector of our economy will face shortage of labor. So we are going to compete throughout the world, so the world is going to go in that direction. Now we are saying, we don't want immigration, gitu-gitu. In the future, people are going to compete with internationally for labor force, caused by shrinking population. See that, Okay, anyway, this I was just saying what Lee Kuan Yew said in his book. Is there a country in this world that prospers on a declining population? If I had to identify one issue that threatens Singapore's survival the most, it would be this one. And then dia kata, I cannot solve the problem, I have given up. You see, I have given up. Dia kata, maybe the next generation of leaders will solve it. This is to show you what Japan is doing, all robotics to ini. This is one hotel, 100% manned by robots. You see, the receptionist is a dinosaur and a robot. Huh? Huh? And then they say there'll be a muscular looking robot will be standing there to carry your bag to the room, you know. Now, the things that's coming because cannot import, cannot import. I mean, the labor force, yeah, they're also moving in the direction. So it's moving in that. So what I'm saying is the aging society is predominantly a systemic structural problem. It's a natural economic decision to have less children. Not because of kesuburan wanita going down, it's a natural economic decision. So anyway, I want to quickly this thing. For what I present all this, if you ask me to say what is the flaw present, what is the fundamental flaw? The flaw is there is no stable measure of value. So what is that? For example, if I say a gram is a measure of weight, gram, jadi the gram di China dengan gram di sini mesti sama. Gram yesterday or 1 year ago and a gram today mesti sama weight. Then we call a gram is a measure of weight. Standard. Sama dengan length or meter. Meter di China, India ke apa, mesti sama dengan meter di sini. So it becomes a measure of length. Duit ni is a measure of value. Tapi setiap moment is moving, up and down in the forex market. Imagine you sign a contract, you buy berapa meter clothing from China. You order already, lepas tu dia kata, oh sekarang 1 meter is only this length. Okay, that's what is happening. So we need to solve in the monetary, make money a standard measure of value. So Imam Ghazali mentioned in Ihya Ulumuddin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created gold and silver as measure of value. Initially when I was a student, I used to wonder why the Imam didn't say it's created gold and silver, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created as money. Then I realized, no, the real function of gold and silver is only as a measure of value. What is the implication of that? The implication is that ramai people will say, oh, if you go to gold and silver, Muslim countries got not enough gold, they will argue like that. You will realize you actually don't need gold to implement gold payment system. You only need gold as a measure of value. I tell you, our past scholars are extremely smart, or maybe guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. Kita ni jatuh bila luka baru kita crack ourselves. But before jatuh dia orang dah tahu. Alright. So if I may ask you, what the solution? Remember the red line was moving like this. So the solution is you have to make the red line and the green line move parallel. So how to do that? First is the money itself must become real juga. They must be part of the real economy. Money itself. So that's the reason. So when we say money itself must be part of the real economy, so any commodities or even services yang kita bagi that has characteristics of money. There are a number of characteristics lah. Artinya semua orang terima. It is divisible. It's homogeneous. It is easily can be moved about. Any item, then dia boleh digunakan sebagai wang. So gold and silver dominate that characteristic. So that means gold and silver can become the money in the system. But there can be other things. If you see the Prophet ﷺ's hadith, gold for gold, silver for silver, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, salt for salt, date for date. All these items, they have the characteristics of money that in it. So which means all these items can be also used as money. Tapi gold and silver will dominate. So if you ask me, can we use petroleum as money? Yes. Can we use palm oil as money? Yes. They all fulfill the. So many things in the commodities market can be turned into monetary unit, and it will become real. This is the first thing we need to do. And that's the first thing. Make money part of real, which also means adopt a real measure of value. The second thing is you see the equation that was taking us exponential like that, is the riba, the interest. So we must completely remove riba from the system. The interest must be completely removed. So I always tell, even though this thing, because of this, the central bank cannot be the guardian of the Islamic monetary system. You ask me why this thing. Because the central bank's major policy tool is the interest rate. And interest rate is what we are saying is haram and this thing. So how can a body that is a guardian of the system or based on interest is also the guardian of the Islamic system? Guardian. A guardian of riba is the one who is going to the guardian of the Islamic system. Tak boleh. So it must be separated. You must place it under the Sultan or this thing. Get it? A simple logic. I think there is a political reason, but we need to address. We want to solve this because everybody is facing problem in the country. So let's address it correctly, see where the problem is, and solve it correctly. Kalau tidak, this problem will be never solved. Anak-anak kita semua akan susah nanti macam ni. Okay, nah? Ah, betul lah, betul lah. So that's why the compound interest must be removed from the system. It means by regulatory we have to say the interest based financing cannot exist. That's how the Islamic system is. Correct or not? So if you have gold payment system, semua money memang emas, tapi you still allow people to lend gold at compound interest, then you will face same problem juga. Correct or not? Right? So dua. So the monetary side, first your money has to go to become real, and secondly we have to, by regulatory, you have to actually stop people giving loan on compound interest. Get it? Huh? Can. I'll come. I'll tell you why this thing. Huh? Why we couldn't do in the first place. Why when Tun Mahathir said in year 2000 this thing, why we couldn't do? Because to do this, we need international structure. There will be international power will stop you if you try to do it. So we got this thing. Why? Because remember I said the dollar is enjoying such a power where they create and they can buy throughout the world. Who want to lose their power? They don't want to lose their power. So it's basically a question of how we do this to have strong military enough, powerful enough to counter that or not. So if you do not have a military, that is to save the people. So what Tun Mahathir did is correct. Otherwise you see what happened to Libya and Iraq. The only reason why Libya was this thing because Saddam Hussein wanted to sell the Iraqi oil in euros. And that threatens the petrodollar. Yeah. What about Libya? Because Libya is even, he wanted to establish a pan-African currency backed by gold. So anybody who threatens the dollar, you better have the military power to. So who now showed finally Allah SWT has given a solution to that? When the game was being played between, when they're trying to stop China's rise, China's rise including the pandemic also lah. So when Putin this thing attacked this thing in Ukraine, then the war this thing when America imposed sanctions on Russia retaliated by going back to gold. Dia kata 5,000 ruble equals to 1 gram of gold. That really started shaking the dollar. Because now there's a currency backed by gold. You see? But to show that he must show that he can actually take on the US in Ukraine. You see that? So it has been proven already now in this thing that they are able to take on it. America is not as powerful as now as people thought. So he is now moving. So if you look at the BRICS, Brazil, the BRICS countries, the other bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? BRICS. Now many other nations join, including Saudi Arabia, joining, and they're now talking about BRICS currency backed by gold. Benchmark, yes. Not US dollar, the gold. Why gold? Because it's a politically neutral currency. Nobody benefits out of like the US dollar. It's a politically free currency. Yeah. Yes, benchmark. You are using the right word. When you say benchmark, it means measure of value. So in other words, let's say I'm Malaysia, I'm exporting palm oil to you. You say this is I import from you, let's say cotton, I have a cotton industry. I import from you cotton. You say this also 10, then the same equal in the gold value. I export to you, then I import from you. But not the butter with butter problem. Why? Because gold is playing the role of money. Right? So this is where we must take. So China also realized developing economy is not built by playing with the monetary system like the US. It's real hard work. That is in their calculation, it is in their benefit that they go to the gold as a measure of value. They don't need the yuan to be fiat money like the US. Because if they go to yuan as fiat money, then they will go through the same dynamics like what happened to the US dollar. See that? So China also support. China already in. So this is what solution two lah. Satu real money. The other one is we have to go to risk sharing principles in Islam. That means murabaha, musyarakah dan sebagainya instead of risk-free interest-based system. Satu is money. The other one is in contracts. It must be risk sharing principle, not risk-free principle. This is the thing that we need to do. So this one, just to give you an idea, in the monetary this thing, we have a movement called Movement for Monetary Justice. Actually, I am the chairman of the movement. Yeah, it's a established movement, and it's part of an international movement. Actually, we have people from Europe, we have groups from America, all going for the same thing. Yeah. So this is the currently we have fiat money issued by commercial banks mostly. The first thing is we are going to support fiat money issued by government only. That means all the power from the commercial banks today creating money and giving loan, kita ambil, kita kasih government. Why? But the moment you do that, the government will get easily about, in Malaysia, the profit was, we are talking about a profit only about 40 billion you can get. 40 billion you can get annually. But if you talk about revenue, it's even much higher. Okay, that's number one. So the central banks are trying to go to CBDC, the central bank digital currency. We support it because it is, but the CBDC must be entirely controlled by the government. But when we say government, it has to be at the parliament control. We don't want any individual control, otherwise they will mess up then the politician become very rich. The people will be still poor. So there is a caveat there. It is properly controlled. So the technical terms we use that is called public banking. In the US, they have public banking, and then they have sovereign money or modern money theory. Money theory. All these fall under that concept, where money is entirely created by the government, not by commercial banks, because commercial banks are privately owned. That's why they become very rich. Then we move to next level is digital fiat money, also by government with netting arrangements. So later one of these days you all want to know what is the netting arrangement, I can talk here. That itself will need, in my opinion, that's the direction we should go. Well, it can create a lot of liquidity in the economy and business, but without money. Netting arrangement. And last is gold back. I put last gold back, but I think it is going very fast already. When I look what is happening globally, I think we will, inshallah, will reach gold sooner. So let me see if there's any this thing. Already this is the dinar, the original dinar issued by Caliph Abdul Malik bin Marwan. This is the first. So many people don't know. Then what was before that? Before that is all the dinar was issued by the Romans. So the word dinar is actually from the denarius of the Romans. Yeah, it's 4.25. But Prophet ﷺ accepted this as the monetary unit because it's fair. It's fair, so you don't have to change a system that is fair, right? It's a fair system. So now the people are already in Malaysia also got e-wallets or backed by gold and things like that. These are good developments taking place. So this is Robert Alexander Mandel is the Nobel laureate in 1999. In fact, he said this 2 years before he became a Nobel laureate. He said gold will make a comeback in the international monetary system in the 21st century. You see, his foresight. He says it's coming back. And again in 2021, Professor Mandela just gold convertibility for euro because he's known as the father of euro. So you're saying better back euro by gold. Huh? Europe is collapsing. Europe is collapsing. So these are some of the Anila. So China also going to oil benchmark backed by gold. So these are trying to show that we need. This is the India after Russia backed the ruble they call it ruble by gold. Then the Russian this thing also bounced back. Actually, this is one of the reasons why our interest rates are more nice. You know why? I show you. When Russia put 5,000 ruble equals to 1 gram of gold, dollars makin jatuh. So when dollar falls, what the America will do is they increase the interest rate. So when they increase the interest rate, then a lot of people want to invest in America. So let's say I'm a wealthy Malaysians and everything, you will be giving your currency and demanding dollar to invest there. That is the dollar akan naik balik, right? So the America increases interest rate to actually counter this move. So we also forced to increase interest rate. Kalau tak ringgit akan semakin jatuh-jatuh. Right? So it's related to that movement there. All right, so I'll stop here. Basically, this is Alan Greenspan. What I was saying, Alan Greenspan was for how many decades he was the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is the central bank of the U.S. He said, testimony, he said, I had been going on for 40 years with considerable evidence that it was working very well, the system. 40 tahun dia kata. The whole intellectual edifice, however, collapsed in the summer of last year. Yeah, 2008. Remember the 2008 crisis? He said the entire intellectual edifice collapsed in that year after 40 years. So I asked people, he's talking about a flaw in the system. What is the flaw? Right? This is the. So finally, we realized the central banking system with fiat money, it has a fundamental flaw. So that is the end of this thing. So what is this thing? We Muslims, we go back to gold and silver. There is a hikmah. So thank you very much. Go. See this all other in here. So Mahathir was saying that and everything. This is basically to show you when Trump was in place, he was going towards gold actually. They politically they remove him. This lady is Judy Shelton. She wrote the book Money Meltdown, and she also said we need to go back to gold standard. So he had to play maneuvering, and finally he placed her in the Federal Reserve. Tapi politically they remove him, right? So these are other things that we need to do, but many things lah, maybe. Huh? Huh? In fact, in my opinion, I was his political this thing. I was supporting his actually. Even though supporting in the sense that what he was doing, he was trying to take America in the right direction. Tapi they politically removed. In fact, he minted 2 coins, gold coin and a silver coin with his face on it. To me, it's a signal that he wants to take the economy towards gold. I cuba beli the coins just for my collection lah. Then they say no, they only send to American address only. So I asked my American friend to buy some silver coin. So I got it. So that's basically some. But anyway, now the Trump is no longer there, so it's a different story then. All right. So any comments from you all or any? So what we can this thing is that we like to have our Sharia scholars to come and give the Sharia support to this movement. We have some Sharia. Hmm? Yeah. 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 I agree with you. Yeah, yeah. I tell you what's in here. What will be the effect? In finance, there's something called arbitrage, right? Arbitraging is when price of things are differ in different markets and so on. You can play with the markets and make easy free money. So arbitrage profit is like finding money on the ground. Okay, there's no risk because pricing difference. You make the advantage of the pricing. You get, especially on exchange rates. when we do that, we even teach our students. Okay, we see the exchange rate is here like this, here, this, how to make the arbitrage. We teach that, yeah. So this arbitrage happens in every market actually. The antara market, every Islamic bank markets, and between commodity markets, between money market dan sebagainya, semua. Right? So in finance, there are also people called arbitrages. Just like investors, there are also arbitrages, hedges dan sebagainya. When you have Islamic banking in two ini working under the same environment like this, both providing capital for business and sebagainya, when the price differs, people can arbitrage the difference. You can arbitrage the difference with the interest rate swap dan sebagainya. Bukan swap ya, swapping. interest rate swap, you can arbitrage the difference. Free money, you know. So when you arbitrage the difference, dua will move together and close the gap. It will close the gap of arbitrage. When arbitrages make profit, dia akan tutupkan the gap of the arbitrage. Jadi dua-dua akan jadi sama. So the effect of all this thing, the Islamic banking and commercial, conventional banking, they akan jadi sama because of that. So which means the effects will be the same. On the economy will be the same. Yeah, arbitraging is a method of making profit. Anybody out there, when they see a gap for profit, they will do it, you see. So the profiteering will make the gap between the difference between Islamic banking and commercial tutup dan jadi sama. Hmm. Hmm. Yalah. Yalah. Ya. That's a good idea. Satu rumah aja atau dua rumah aja lah. Ya betul lah. Ya betul. Betul, I agree. Susan, you need to go enter politics, we all will support you. Yeah, betul lah, betul. I noticed this, you know, for housing problem ni, I've been actually liaising one with Islamic Ansar Housing Cooperative di Toronto, Canada. Dia sudah 30 tahun, Ansar Housing Cooperative. They do a concept musyarakah mutanakisah. You know, you borrow the diminishing partnership method. The diminishing partnership method, you can own a home within 10 years. Within 10 years. And it is entirely nicely, it's Islamically acceptable contract. So I tried to do it, tapi it will work only under system koperasi. System koperasi. So I tried to introduce it dua kali. In fact, when here also when Pangko dialogue, I bawa dia, the CEO of this thing. Then I did one conference with Angkasa because Angkasa is the umbrella of the koperasi kan. But no takers. Even from Malaysia, I told them, look, all your PPM, all the perumahan murah, semua doesn't work. Here is a system that is proven to work for people can own within 10 years. So even if you establish housing cooperative, I can link you with this person. You can help people to own home dalam masa 10 tahun. If you like to discuss that method, maybe I can discuss the how it works and the mathematics of it and things like that. Yeah. I always put the baby at the end. You know why? I always tell, let's leave something better for them. All right. Is there any comments from you? Others? Yes, Dato. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, some gap is there. Lah. We need to, yeah, economics. Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, correct, correct. That's why I mentioned to you this thing. In my opinion, to establish a Islamic economic system after 40, 50 years being in this, I think we need three. One is the monetary, what we present. Number two is actually integrated education system. The integrate Islamic education with professionalism like this. So that, like for example, now I'm talking, but I'm not Sharia trained. When the Sharia people in the Sharia community, they are not economically trained. You know, so this is the problem we face. So we need to create the next generation of scholars who are actually experts in both. So if I want to ask a medical problem, then on Islamic, and the person must be medically trained at the same time a Sharia scholar. We need that kind of integrated education, and for that, I think it has to start from preschool. We must plan preschool education sampai ini. Then the third is a good wakaf system, because the wakaf system actually can counter all I mentioned tadi itu can be countered using a wakaf system actually, because the wakaf system in real economic, you will realize the real value creation is not from money; it's actually from work. The people when they work, when everybody has got work to do, that's when value is created. Money is just an enabler, but wakaf system can create, allow people to work and give social protection for everybody, which this system cannot give. So Indonesians are doing a good work in that. Jadi kalau kita buat these three, this monetary try to solve at the same time a good education system and wakaf. Now wakaf dengan education system, even today we can do. Nobody will come and catch up. But this one, internationally they are. uh, but this one you want to implement, there's one verse in the Quran I always remember this thing. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa'iddu lahum mastata'tu min quwwah wa min ribatil khayl. Turhibuna bi aduwallahi wa aduwakum. This is missing in the Muslim world today. Means, prepare your army so that you can, this thing strong enough so that you can put fear in the enemies of Allah and your enemy. This is missing in them. So until we have a good this thing, we cannot talk about monetary things. So, but anyway, it is coming from the European side, because you remember the Putin. Putin is actually they are Orthodox Christians. They're not the Christians like. Oh no, they're not. They're Orthodox, the Coptic Christians, whom the Prophet ﷺ asked us to be good with, be kind to them, isn't it? So that group. So I think I have confidence that we will soon, inshallah, will have a good class here. Inshallah. Wallahu alam. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.